Today, I'm going to be talking about how to deal with disappointment. I think there comes a time in everybody's life where they're disappointed by something that happens. And that's normal, that's life, but sometimes it just feels like it's a little too much to handle and that this disappointment is not deserved. Especially when it's from somebody that you trust and they disappoint you. That is the biggest one that hurts a lot. I think that disappointment comes in different ways for everybody and in different forms. Like you could be disappointed by one thing in one way and then differently in another. I'll give an example from my life and how I went through disappointment and what I did to deal with that. So I was in this relationship with this girl for 2 years. We were madly in love at the peak of our relationship, and she would tell me all these things like, "Oh, I love you so much," all these things, this and that. And then she would go and just stab me in the back by doing things that just betrayed trust and me as a human. And that for me was very, very, very disappointing. And being disappointed is almost like you have this vision of this person and what they are, and then they totally do a 180 on you and make you see them in a whole different light. And that is really tough to grasp and to be okay with. It's almost like you see them in a new light, but it's not because you want to, it's because you're forced by their actions. Another example I have of this is my parents. Growing up, I always wanted to make a lot of videos, and that's what I do for my job currently, but they never could understand why I was doing things. And like one day I told my parents, or I guess my mom, my dream that I want to make YouTube videos. And then she was basically said, "No, like you're not going to do that. And I'm not going to allow you, like I'm going to kick you out of my house if you do this." And that to me was very disappointing because now I see my mother in this new light of, okay, I thought she always supported me and wanted the best for me and wanted me to chase my dreams. But now here lies in front of me my reality. This was probably 10 years ago now, and it was tough for me at first. I was basically forced into going a different direction in life when, in high school, I would make these YouTube videos building up this channel and got over 2,000 subscribers. I made, at the time, it's not very much money, but, looking back, making any amount of money off of YouTube is crazy, especially for even 10 years ago, which, YouTube is in a whole different place now. So you might be wondering, how did I deal with this? So sometimes, even if it hurts a lot, you have to move forward, you have to push forward, and ultimately, it probably was for the best, but at the time, I just couldn't see it. It still was very disappointing for me to hear that, and like, wow, I thought somebody who would support me through everything would help me chase my dream, but in reality, that's not how it is sometimes. So what I did to kind of move past this is just, I took it into my own hands and I kind of advanced and moved in a way where I would set myself up in the future to be able to do this. And if somebody didn't support me, that's okay. It's a tough pill to swallow knowing that not everybody wants the best for you or has a vision that can be understood that's on a level of your vision. And I know this sounds bad, but sometimes you have to put yourself in a position where you do what's best for you. And if you know what's best for yourself, like you need to get to that place no matter if somebody does want this for you or doesn't. And when you're feeling disappointed from somebody, the best thing to do is just acknowledge what happened, take note of it, and just move forward, because you can't really dictate everybody's thoughts and feelings around you. Like you only have control over your own thoughts and emotions and actions. I'm really guilty of being stuck on one certain thing and replaying it over and over in my head and trying to figure out, okay, if I would have done this differently or whatever it may be, maybe it'd be different. But you can't really beat yourself up over it, because being disappointed by somebody isn't because of your actions. And not to say it can't happen because of your actions. Sometimes it can. Like if you do something to one person, they might act a different way, and then, that might disappoint you. But most of the time, when it's just like somebody disappoints you for nothing you did, it's hard. Sometimes it's just caused by a lack of understanding and knowledge from the other person because they don't know your perspective or what you think. So just communicating with somebody else might kind of help get to a place where you're comfortable with. But realistically, it's more about the other person taking action, and actions speak a lot louder than words. So putting their money where their mouth is mostly, and just almost like a positive reinforcement. They just have to continuously show up and show you that they won't disappoint you again. And sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. It depends on what your situation is and where you're standing. Sometimes you have to walk away, and other times you have to stand and fight. So really, it depends. Every situation is different. And this kind of sounds bad, but having high expectations leads to disappointment sometimes. So, I'm to the point where I expect nothing from anybody. And if somebody does something, then I'm happy and I'm surprised. But if they don't, then I'm not too disappointed because I expected nothing out of them. And I don't know if this is like the healthiest or best way to go about it, but I guess that's how I've kind of adapted to it. But I at least hope there's something you can take away out of this whole video. I'd love to hear some stories down below in the comments, and maybe I'll get back to you and make a video about, your situation and how maybe you can deal with it. And, I'm by no means like a therapist or like certified in anything. I'm just a dude talking from life experience and what I see the world as. So have a good one, guys. Comment down below. Let's get a discussion going, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.